Good morning and welcome. My name is Shauna Spickard, and I am the Chief Communications Officer, and let me tell you, it's been an amazing first week. Just some reflections. In the last 2 weeks, I've been able to visit 4 buildings, and this is our 4th media conference, and I just want to thank all of our media partners for being here today. Today we are going to be talking about our first week of school, so this briefing is designated for that, so we will answer questions related to our first week of back to school, and any other questions can go to our media mailbox. I'll be introducing our panel. So today we have our superintendent, Dr. Crystal Hill, who will be speaking on behalf of updates on the first week of school. We also have Dr. Melissa Balknight, our deputy superintendent, and our chief of operations, Mr. Tim Ivey. Before we get started, I'd like to thank Ballantyne Ridge High School for hosting this event in such a beautiful building. And we do have Principal Miliotti here to talk a little bit about himself and this building. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I first wanted to start by thanking the Board of Education and Superintendent Hill for giving me this proud opportunity and big responsibility to start this endeavor in our community. It's been a blessing, something I've looked forward to my entire career. I'm very excited to share that our community has really embraced this for the last year. Our PTSO and our parent organizations have been formed for over a year, and they've done a phenomenal job in getting every club, every organization off the ground from the onset. That work started literally the night I was named principal about 12 months ago. They emailed me from the moment it was announced, and they said, "We want to start your PTSO," and I said, "Game on." So they've been great partners, and our community has really embraced this challenge in starting a comprehensive high school in South Charlotte. I'll also say our kids, more importantly, have transitioned seamlessly, and the vibe in this building is spectacular. Not one student has really come up saying, "I'm unhappy." In fact, I've gotten several emails from students saying how excited they are to be here and personally thanked us for the work that our team has done. So the motto that we've really leaned into across the school is the strength of the wolf is in the pack, and the strength of the pack is in the wolf, right? So it takes one to create the pack, and it takes the pack to be successful, and everyone has to own a partner in that. And we've leaned into that not only with our kids, but with our staff and also with our community to say it takes every single one of us working together to make this a reality for our kids. And I'm proud to say it's happening every day. Couldn't ask for a better opening. So thank you again for this opportunity. Really blessed that my staff has come together and really done the work necessary to make the experience for kids exceptional. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Hill. Thank you so much for being here and allowing us to offer this opportunity to the public. Have a great day.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I would like to recognize our board members that are with us this morning. We have board member Summer Nunn. We also have board member Lenora Sanders-Ship and board member Lisa Klein. I'd also like to recognize from the Pineville Town Commission, Amelia Stinson Wesley, and she also is a former Board of Education member. So again, thank you so much for being here. We have had an absolutely amazing first week of school right here in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. I'd like to say thank you to our students, staff, families, and community for the opportunity to partner with you as we started the 2024-25 school year. Yesterday, I was at a board of directors meeting for Charlotte Center City Partners, and one of my fellow board members leaned over and said to me, "Thank you for a fantastic start to the school year." He went on to say, "I have 2 children in CMS at 2 different schools, and everything from the car rider line to engagement with teachers and staff has been great." And my response was really simple. We have an amazing team. I'd like to say thank you to the hard work and dedication of our school leaders, specifically our principals, who have spent the spring and summer months preparing for day 1 of the new school year. Leading a school is no easy task. We have 186 principals who have participated in professional development, attended meetings, and plan to ensure they are executing with excellence without exception and ensuring endless possibilities for our students. Thank you, media partners, for being with us as we observed outstanding principals in our new buildings. Principal Summer Rogers at Knights View Elementary School, Principal Dr. Nathan Curry at Bruns Avenue Elementary School, and here today, as you all heard from, the fantastic Mr. Michael Miliotti, proud principal of Ballantyne Ridge High School. Will you please give them a hand? I spent the first part of this week visiting schools, and I saw eager and excited and engaged students being taught by equally eager and excited and engaged teachers. Our buildings were pristine and our grounds were immaculate. There was an air of calm throughout the building that sometimes is missing on the first day of school. I saw evidence of the work we are doing with capturing kids' hearts. Our teachers and administrators are nurturing relationship-driven campus cultures and student connectedness at every school, because that is the expectation. Of course, the first week of school was not without a few challenges. As anticipated, we experienced issues with longer than normal bus ride times, and we also had a few mix-ups with bus routes. While these challenges are typical in any school district across the country, it's not acceptable, and our team was hard at work to address them. And by Wednesday, we saw marked improvement. Unfortunately, we had a transportation incident yesterday with one of our buses at Oakdale Elementary. While we cannot go into specifics because of restrictions around personnel matters, we do and will hold staff to high standards, and we ask that the community continue to aid us in that accountability. I want to be clear, we take the safety of our students and staff seriously, and the well-being of our CMS family is top priority. We are also experiencing a few issues with some of our HVAC units not operating properly, especially with the higher than normal temperatures this week. Our goal is to maintain a comfortable learning environment for our students and staff. Our operations team continues to diagnose and prioritize and address these issues quickly as possible. If repairs require extended time, we have implemented a plan to provide portable cooling systems to maintain a comfortable environment. Overall, it was a great first week of school, and I am more than pleased with how we welcome students and families to the 2024-25 school year. At this time, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Melissa Balknight will give an update about this week.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm told that the bell will ring at 10:22, but we're in a school, so we expect that, right? So we'll pause when the bell rings and just remember how it feels to be in a school and having to move to your next class. I spent this past week in schools, and it's been amazing. Being able to visit schools in our district and seeing all the great things in action has been absolutely wonderful. In fact, before coming here this morning, I was at Walter G. Byers with Principal Davis, and I was able to listen to students learn about all the things that coyotes eat. Well, that was aligned with our science standards around ecosystems and classification. And so I was able to stay in there and participate with the kids and learn a little bit, because I actually have coyotes around my neighborhood, so I learned a few safety tips for myself. Earlier this week also at University Meadows Elementary, the 5th grade team was already entrenched in instruction. The school was vibrant with murals that were aligned to instruction. For example, if you go down their kindergarten hallway, they have word walls that align to the words the kids need to learn throughout the school year. If you go to the 1st grade hallway, the same way. So every school, as you go and walk through, you see their personality come alive. In Ms. Anderson's language arts class at James Martin Middle School, students analyzed 7 different sources as their introduction to their first novel of the year. The first week of school, and they're already working with their first novel. Amazing. Students at Garinger High School, you could just see the excitement. Students in high school, those 9th grade students, they're learning their way to their classes. They're eager. Their friends were helping them to get to those places, and staff. So it feels really good at Garinger, and the staff was very excited to be there back with students. I also got to see several groups of excited kindergarten students as they were phasing in this week, experiencing their staggered entry into school. Their faces of excitement, their fun outfits that they've planned for their first day of big school. In fact, I heard one of the students say, "I'm on the big hallway this year." So it's very fun to hear from those students. Across all grade levels and schools I visited this week, I saw evidence of social emotional learning supports and structures to make sure that every student felt welcomed and included in the school and classroom. Principal Derrick at Montclair Elementary School was featured on the school's morning news. So they actually have a news program in the morning. And she shared great advice to take 3 deep breaths. And so I was able to join in the classroom with students, and it certainly made me feel better. In the first 5 days of school, our schools have worked hard to get back in the rhythm of things. In fact, it felt like we never left. Parents and families, please make sure to ask your students what they learned at school this week. I'm sure that they'll tell you lots of great things and deep instruction. Teachers and staff, please make sure you get some rest, as it is just beginning. Thank you. At this time, I'll invite Mr. Tim Ivey to come up and share.
Thank you, Dr. Ballantyne. The first week of school has been a tremendous success, and I want to extend my gratitude to all of our operations staff for their hard work and dedication. There are numerous actions that take place behind the scenes each and every school day to ensure that students and staff arrive and are welcomed into our school buildings. I want you to know that they do not go unnoticed. For school nutrition, our school nutrition team hit the ground running, serving approximately 25,000 free breakfast meals each day and 60,000 plus lunches daily. Please remember that this year we have 113 CEP schools where all students receive free breakfast and lunch. Free breakfast is provided to all students in CMS, and we encourage families to complete the free and reduced lunch form at any of our schools that do not qualify for the CEP program. In transportation, as we navigated the first few days of school, we encountered some typical transportation challenges, including delays, missed stops, and bus mix-ups. With over 100,000 riders, it is common to experience these issues as we fine-tune our operations. We work diligently to address and resolve these concerns as quickly as possible. Transportation has done an excellent job making marked improvements each day this week. We began the week with morning on-time arrival times or arrival percentages at 86%. And yesterday, we were at 94.9%. That's almost a 9% improvement. Afternoon arrival time started at 77%, and yesterday we were at 88%. It's almost 11% improvement. We will continue to see these type of improvements as we move into week 2 of school, and I appreciate everyone's patience and understanding as we hone our routes and ridership numbers. Parents are once again reminded to download the Here Comes the Bus app and go to Alpha Route on the CMS transportation page. I also want to emphasize that it is illegal and extremely dangerous to pass a stopped school bus that has its stop arm extended. In operations, we had a strong start to the school year with no whole school HVAC outages. As the week progressed, we did have the normal HVAC challenges that go along with the beginning of schools and reintroducing students and staff back into our school buildings. This increased capacity along with the higher temperatures created some HVAC strains in some of our schools. I'm pleased to report that we were able to respond quickly to these concerns by placing technicians strategically throughout our district and utilizing outside HVAC contractors. We also implemented several mitigation steps. This year, we introduced the use of portable air units in schools with sections or multiple rooms experiencing issues, as well as providing fans to circulate air. Our HVAC staff have been working around the clock to ensure repairs and adjustments are made. We receive regular status checks throughout each school day to monitor the situation closely and make additional changes as needed. We want to maintain a comfortable learning environment in our schools, and I'm happy to report that we still do not have any whole schools without HVAC, and the schools that are having some form of HVAC outage are being addressed by our mitigation efforts. In school safety, the safety of our students and staff is our top priority, and I'm proud to say that our safety protocols were executed flawlessly during the first week. We had 2 schools that were asked to go into lockdown due to external community situations, not school-related issues. The staff were well-trained and quickly responded to make sure all students were safe. We also had 2 detections with our security scanners, which were immediately addressed by security staff, CMS PD, school administration, and CMPD. We did not see any significant delays with students entering our K-8 middle and high schools due to the expectation for students not to use metal 3-ring binders. Overall, it has been an excellent operational start to the school year. The commitment and professionalism displayed by every member of our team has helped us set a strong foundation for the months ahead. I will now turn it back over to Dr. Hill for closing comments.
Thank you, Dr. Balknight, Mr. Ivy. Last year, I was a new superintendent, and this year, I've had the benefit of a year's worth of experiences under my belt. Personally, I live by the 1% better each and every day rule, where I strive to be 1% better than I was the day before. This focus on continuous improvement is something that I have charged my leadership team to model. Today, I can confidently tell you that the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School's opening for the 2024-25 academic year was much better than last year's opening. As examples I offer, our buildings, with the exception of Charles Parker due to a broken pipe, were open and ready to receive our students, and all students had a welcoming environment to start on day one. Even with that facility's emergency, our team worked to accommodate the Charles Parker family, and I am pleased to announce that students will be back in their building this coming Wednesday. We were able to plan for and accommodate 4,000 more intended bus riders than last year, and our human resources team took an all-hands-on-deck approach and has worked extended hours Monday through Friday and also on the weekend to make sure that our employees were processed. Last year, we had approximately 455 teacher vacancies. This year, as of August 28th, there are 276 teacher vacancies, and all principals had plans in place on day one to ensure that all students had access to excellent instruction. Do we have items that still need improvement? Absolutely. And we are working on those processes and procedures to see where we can make changes for the better. We want every day to be an amazing day. Our students, our staff, and our families deserve the Crown experience. In addition to thanking all of our CMS team members for an outstanding first week of school, we thank all of our families for their patience and support as we welcomed our students, refined our bus routes, and prepared our facilities. And finally, I would like to thank the community for your continued support. The success of our students is a true partnership. We look forward to an amazing year, a year of endless possibilities. And at this time, I will turn it over to Susan to facilitate questions.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Vernon Devlin. I'm the Executive Director of Media Relations and Crisis Communications for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. So those of you who have questions, please kindly raise your hands and I will call on you to start. Amelia.
Dr. Hill briefly touched on the transportation incident from yesterday. Can you all share what type of impairment the bus driver was in?
We cannot due to confidentiality matters, but I will say that CMS PD were on site, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department were on site, as well as school and district personnel.
Can you all share the bus driver suspended, at least?
I'm not sure, but if he's not, he will be. I'm sorry, yes, he is suspended, thank you.
Okay. Mary.
Mr. Ivy mentioned that no whole schools are completely out of HVAC right now, but you mentioned some schools, and I'm wondering about how many schools right now are affected with HVAC, and also how long you would expect, if you can put a time frame, until all schools have completely operational HVAC.
So the HVAC is essentially a moving target because you will start off the beginning of the week and have everything up and operational. And then based off the different issues that arise, then you end up having more schools that come on and go off. Some are solved very easily, and then some may take a little bit more time. And so at this time, I don't have an exact number because that is literally fluctuating while we're talking. That's why we have those regular check-ins. So about every 2 hours, our technicians are checking in with us and saying, we've resolved this issue, we have this issue going on, we need to deploy more mitigation steps here. So we are in a state of response to try to go through and address those. But if you would like us to try to give you some type of a list, we will be glad to work that up. It's just much larger than being able to just read off a list of schools. So if you'll send that to media, we'll try to get that together for you.
Okay. Julian?
Dr. Hill, going back to that incident that we talked about, there were reports that 2 kids had minor injuries, and then we also heard that there may have been a gun flashed on campus. Could you either confirm or deny those? And then again, if you could reiterate your message to parents after the incident.
Yes, so I believe you might be talking about 2 separate incidents. So the incident yesterday with the bus did not involve any weapons. If there were any injuries, they were extremely minor. The school principal was on site. We were able to contact parents immediately, so all the children were safe, and they were either picked up by their parents on site or they were transported by another school bus. So if there were injuries, they were very minor. Now, so you mentioned weapons. As Mr. Ivy spoke about, that we did have one parent who tried to enter the building for their child, and our detection system went off. The person did not have a weapon, but had bullets, had ammunition, and everything was secure as it should be per state law in the person's vehicle. But so that's what the trigger was. So there was none of that. The other issue that involved weapons actually happened in a school parking lot between 2 parents. Again, community related, had nothing to do with the school. So I think what I would say, my messaging to parents and to the community would be, we expect schools to be safe, but we need the support of the community in that. Parents, don't bring the drama to school. Your kids want to come to school and they want to be safe. We want them to be safe. We need the drama to stay outside of school.
I'm going to pause for 1 second because it's 10:22, and let's see if the bell's going to go off. Are we good? Maybe?
Your
'Cause
team's
it's
so
actually
good
very
they
loud.
silenced it.
Okay, okay. I see Mary has another question.
So Mr. Ivy had mentioned those 2 detections with the security scanners. You mentioned the ammunition. What was the second one? Maybe I missed that.
Oh, the second one was a student had a pocket knife or something like that that was in their book bag.
And then with the 2 school lockdowns, one you mentioned the parents. What was the other one that was community related?
I can address that. There was a police chase in the neighborhood, and the suspect had exited the vehicle and was running near the school, and so we went into lockdown out of an abundance of caution. Amelia?
Where was the bus headed yesterday?
The bus.
The bus was taking the students home.
Do you know exactly what area? It's just the Oakdale Elementary School?
Yes.
Do we know how long the bus driver's been with the district?
I don't have that information, but if you submit it, we'll be happy to provide that information for you.
Thank you.
Julian?
Dr. Hill, the Hopewell High School principal, we know that they resigned. Is there any update with that? And obviously, you know that they've named a permanent principal, so is there anything more with the Hopewell High School principal that you can comment on?
I'm just really excited to welcome Mr. Vandesal to Hopewell High School. He has served as an assistant principal at Hopewell and is currently, until Tuesday, the principal at Francis Bradley. He's done a fantastic job, and the community is really excited to welcome him there.
So why the resignation?
I can't speak to personnel issues.
Donisa?
Going back to transportation, Mr. Ivy, you mentioned that you're at 88% arrival for the afternoons. Can you speak a little bit more about what the delay is as far as maybe an estimate on time for those students who are still are not arriving on time in the afternoons?
For the afternoons?
Yes.
So in the afternoons, you have a lot of different variables that go into them getting home. We have students getting used to the first week of school, and so you will experience mix-ups where a student may not exactly know what bus as they're older students. You also have some who go to the wrong place that may miss their bus. We've had situations where, which are common, where a student may actually try to get off at the wrong area. The drivers are getting used to the routes. And as each day happens, we are adding new students and updating those routes. So those drivers are literally making adjustments on the fly each and every day. So to see this type of improvement is a real testament to their ability to make adjustments and their commitment to doing an excellent job for our students and our staff.
Julian. This is one
A lot of
last round.
questions today,
Okay.
Julian.
got a lot of things happening, Dr. Hill. I wanted to confirm, you talked about Charles H. Parker, and
Yes.
then was that the school they're going to be back in next week?
Yes.
And so can you speak about the speed of response? Because originally we were looking at maybe a 2-month period.
Yeah.
How were you able to get them in next week?
Yeah, I'll speak to that, and then if I leave out any details, Mr. Ivy can fill in the blanks. But there was a pipe burst, and it was in the top floor. Water poured all throughout the top floor, down the steps into the bottom. And so in our original estimates, we had a restoration team come out as expected, just with your home. The insurance company said, hold on, you're not going to move forward, we need to step in. So when the insurance company had to get involved, of course, our forecast for the amount of time that it would take to get it repaired immediately was forecasted to be longer. And so at that time, we were expecting that it would be long, but the insurance company was great. They were able to find a local contractor that could finish up the work, got them in, and I put some heat on Mr. Ivy. Mr. Ivy put some heat on them, and they committed to working. They worked all last week, over the weekend. We were also really insistent that we wanted to have some environmental testing, because anytime you have water in a building, we want to make sure that the air quality is good. So we had that happen. We also then had to contract, if you think about just the fix, then all the floors that had been waxed were ruined, so we had to go back and do all that work. But when I say people worked overtime to make it happen, that's what happened. But the key lever for the time change was when we had the original estimate from the contractor in terms of time, and then when the insurance team had to get involved, we just projected that it would be longer. So we're really excited that they'll be back. I just want to be clear that everybody knows, families of course already know this at Charles Parker, but we had to make some adjustments obviously in their schedule. So today is their last day at Bruns, and then on Tuesday, those students will have a remote learning day, because we wanted to make sure that our teachers and our staff had an entire day to be in that building and get it ready to go, so Wednesday morning they can welcome students. So teachers will be there Tuesday, teachers and staff, but Wednesday, students will be there.
Wanted to get the principal up here. Wanted to talk about your new football team. Obviously, you had a debut.
All right.
Last week, no. But here's a question. What is your message to the community? Because you got an average age, I think it is 14. These kids are trying their hardest. The coach is doing a great job. So what is your message to the community to come out here and support this team as they have their inaugural season?
I think the best part is we had our first home football game last Friday, and the home side was completely full. So it was completely full. So to say, come out and cheer for the team, it's already in place, because I think our community is starting to develop really since school didn't even open yet last Friday, right? So we had a lot of excitement out here. I think what we've really done with our coaching staff across all sports is we hired coaches that it's not about win now. It's about building young men and young women to start the program the right way, where it's about character. Wins will come later, right? There's no pressure about that. But some of our teams, we've already got some W's out there. Not football, but we've got some W's. So we're moving in the right direction. We're excited about our coaches and our athletic programming. And again, it's about the future, and it's about building great young men and women. Yep.
If there are no further questions, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you, members of the media, if you need to ask us any questions, please email our media mailbox at media@cms.k12.nc.us. For those of you who would like to take a tour of the building, Sylvia, Oben, along with our contractor, will walk you through the building so that you can see some of the spaces, and she will make sure that we're not disturbing any classes, because classes are in session now and students are on campus. You can get a good look at the gym through that window right back there. There were some students playing basketball before when we first got in. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate you, and have a great long weekend.
Yay.